Assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Al-Aina binti Muhammad Sufyan. Today I'm going to present about Zakat in Islam. So, what is Zakat? Zakat is the third pillar of Islam that made it compulsory for every Muslim who wants to meet the condition to fulfill it. So, here I attach concepts of Zakat that I want to point out. So firstly, Yusuf al-Qaradawi stated that zakat is prescribed as a form of an effort to respect and elevate the dignity of the poor, as well as function to purity and cleanse the soul. Meanwhile, according to Zaid, zakat is one of the fundamental tenets of Islam made obligatory since 2 Hijri or 624 after Hijri. So, in my point of view, the concept of zakat here means that the obligation of Muslims in helping other people who are in need and also purifying the heart of the rich people from greediness, and always remember that all the wealth are from him. So, there are 8 asnaf categories that are eligible to receive zakat. Firstly, fakir. Fakir is a person who does not have material possession or means of livelihood, for example, an old person or a person who suffers from serious illness that find it hard to find money. So next is miskin. Miskin is a person who has insufficient means of livelihood to meet the basic necessities. Next is amil. Amil is a worker who involved in collection and distribution of zakat. Mu'allaf. Mu'allaf is a person who convert to Islam. And also gharimin. Gharimin is a person who in debt that need money to buy basic necessities. It also includes Ibn Sabil, the one who is stranded during a journey, but the journey must be beneficial and Sharia compliant. Next one is riqab. Riqab is a person who want to improve their standard of living in terms of religion, educating and learning about Islam. Last but not least, fi sabilillah. Fi sabilillah is money to be used in the way of Allah. For example, money that was used to repair the mosque or for education. So next is how do we pay zakat? So before we go into the payment of zakat, we need to know what is nisab and what is hawl. Nisab is the minimum amount of wealth that is equivalent to 85 grams of market value of gold. Hawl is the minimum period of wealth retention in one lunar year. So every Muslim needs to pay zakat if their wealth reached the minimum allowable rate, which is nisab, amounted in a year. Only 0.025 or 2.5% of one's wealth is to be distributed or set aside annually as a zakat. It has been narrated by Abu Ubaid in hadith from Maimun ibn Mihran stated that when the whole of a business completed, calculate all your wealth including debt owed to you by someone who can afford to pay and deduct the debt that you owe. Then pay zakat from the balance. So next is type of zakat. In Malaysia, there are 2 common types of zakat, which the first is zakat fitrah. Zakat fitrah is a small charge that must be paid by all Muslims every year without fail, regardless of age, gender or wealth. Usually, Muslims settle their zakat fitrah during the holy month of Ramadan, as they are obligated to pay it before the start of 8 prayers. The rate of zakat fitrah is equivalent to the value of bushel of rice weighted at 2.7 kg. This rate remains from the time when people used to pay their zakat fitrah with actual bags of rice, which is now Muslims simply pay the equivalent value of the amount. So if we want to pay in ringgit, how much is it? Each state declares that zakat rate for the year based on the current price of its local rice, and the amount of zakat fitrah per person usually remains below RM10 ringgit. However, Those who are capable can choose to pay zakat fitrah according to the price of the rice brand they consume in their house, which may be more expensive. So second is zakat al-mal, which is zakat on wealth. Zakat al-mal are required to pay once a year if a person meets the minimum requirement to do so. There are several types of zakat al-mal, namely zakat on earnings, zakat on business, zakat on savings, zakat on gold and silver, zakat on EPF, zakat on farming, and lastly, zakat on livestock. The most relevant type of zakat on wealth would be the zakat on earnings. Muslim who has been employed for more than a year and awarded an income that is above the set minimum amount are obliged to perform their zakat on earnings. Generally, Muslims who meet the nisab's requirement are mandated to contribute 2.5% of their income as zakat. Their income includes of all type of wage, payments or proceeds obtained by their work, such as salaries, bonuses, commissions, royalties, freelance payment, and also rental income. So next is zakat and tax. First of all, zakat has the righteousness than a tax because zakat is the third pillar of Islam, which must be done on the foundation of Islamic teaching. And God has clearly relates to the command to pay zakat as stated in Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 43. Build, pray, pay zakat, and bow with those who are bowing. According to Bersham, the notion of zakah is defined as a legal donation paid in the form of tax. Furthermore, the Al-Quran and also Al-Sunnah are the foundation of zakat, while tax are founded on tax laws. In the past, tax was to extract the money from the various classes and spend that money for the government and securities purposes, which is totally different from the zakat, which is to help poor people. But now, tax are no longer levied merely for such purposes, but also social and economic policy purposes as well. Last but not least is the underlying reason of zakat. It can be seen that in Islam, zakat is genuinely a remarkable mechanism in terms of pure redistribution from wealthy to poor. Direct benefit for poor citizens, no interest and no payback. And besides, it also a way in the reduction of social injustice, reduction of social crime, equal distribution of income, human rights in the form of social welfare. And the most important thing that zakat is zakat strengthens the connection of ummah between rich and poor people. According to Robin and Talamsani, the zakat as a social capital which is encourage cooperation, reduce transaction costs, and also promote a sense of responsibility toward others. Meanwhile, according to Agnides, he concludes that every zakah is also a sadaqah. Only the sadaqah which is fardu or obligatory is zakah. So zakat is particularly as an effective mechanism to lift the standard of living of the poor people, as well as a significant source of public revenue to increase the spending of developing Muslim nations. Also increase the production market for basic needs, which in turn stimulate the production of social desired products and service in the society. So, to sum up, zakat does bring a lot of benefit to the ummah and the development of Muslim nations. In my point of view, I really hope that the zakat institution in Malaysia and also all over the world will keep bringing the goodness and helping people who in need. That's all from me. Thank you.